okay, let's get you to buy in on this, and then later you're watching like the Asians like just collect
Right.
all the millions, right?
Right. So reparations, they got to do reparations specifically for foundational Black Americans. We
How do
have
they tell who's foundational
That's
Black
what we're
American?
doing out here in California. They have a reparations committee that we've been on their bumper, and we made sure that they made it lineage based because there were people trying to make it race based so they can just give it to any Black person who was harmed by racism. That's very dangerous because if you do that, you allow other immigrant groups to come in. So now Hispanics can say, well, I was harmed by racism. I need to get in on that too. You got to make it lineage based.
So let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
So two people who came from one came from Trinidad, one came from Haiti.
Mm-hmm.
They've been here since the 90s. They had
Mm-hmm.
a kid. The kid's now 30.
Mm-hmm.
The kid says, all I know is here.
Mm-hmm.
I need some of that reparation
No,
money.
because he's not a descendant of slaves in America. He's not a foundational Black American. The foundational Black American reparations claim is a specific claim about slavery. See, this is not a claim about racism, okay? If we want to have a reparations thing about racism, that's a whole different claim. We're talking about something that happened to a specific group of people. We were enslaved in this country and we were never compensated for it. We need that group compensated. You can tell who's a foundational Black American. You go back
How?
to the 1870 census. If you can trace your lineage back to that census, you're a foundational Black American. Also, you have to be classified as Black for the last 10 years. That's another thing too, because white people will try to say, well, hell, look at, I got a grandpa, a great grandfather who was a slave and they're white now. You know what I'm saying? They've been trying to pull that type of game. No, your ass gonna sit down somewhere. Yeah.
So you're making sure there's nobody's gonna come to finesse.
None of that. No finesse. No Rachel Dolezals, no Justin Timberlakes, and none of that fake shit. So yeah, you have to be classified as Black. I wanted to go further. You have to have Negro, Black, or colored on your birth certificate. I wanted to go there.
But wait, you do know, like, within the Black community, there's been a lot of culture mixing and a lot of mixing. Like, for example, you might have somebody who's a foundational Black American who then had three kids with three women, and one might be from the islands, one might be from Africa, whatever. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? But how do you figure out who to really give if do they have to be of pure blood at that point?
No. So if you can trace one parent back to a plantation, you're good. That's all you have to do. Even if it's one person, your mom or whatever, and you got
White people are definitely gonna get that shit in.
No, hell no, because you got to still be classified as Black. You got to be classified as Black still. You have to be classified as Black now.
Rachel,
yeah, but on your birth certificate, Rachel Dolezal ain't Black on her birth certificate. That's why I say we got to have
transracial.
But on her birth certificate, she ain't Black. You see. But yeah, man, there's a lot of people who are foundational and they're still qualified for reparations.
How much money?
Man, we're talking about starting off with 20 trillion. Let's start off with 20 trillion.
How many people do you think is being affected? So 20 trillion for how many people?
Like they say it's like 40 million of us. I think there's more because we're undercounted. A lot of Black people, we don't like taking the census thing. True. A lot of us, we live under the radar. That's another reason why I think they're afraid of really giving reparations, because they're going to see the true number. When they start showing that we're going to get checks, you're going to start seeing
people coming out of the woodworks.
They're coming out the damn woodworks.
Yeah.
I believe there would be about 70 million Black people here, man. To be honest, I believe there's way more foundational Black Americans than being counted.
So let's talk logistics. Where does the 20 million come from?
The United States government, because that's where
out of any specific budget, or just find the
no. What was the budget for the COVID relief? They came up with money for that. Where was the budget for the damn Ukrainians? That came out of nowhere. Give me some of that Ukrainian money. The money you gave to the bailout for the corporations. They come up with money all the time. The money they gave to the Afghanistanians. Give me some of that.
So I think this is one of the reasons why white folks specifically are resistant to anything about a reparation, is that once they have finally admitted that they owe, it's going to be one of those things where you not only collect, but you go back to the back of the line, or you come back later and say, I need more. So is this a one-time payment? And how would that break down to like every particular Black foundational Black American? How would that break down, like, per average? Is it like 100,000? Like, what is it?
There's a lot of different logistics to it. Sometimes it could be in monthly payments. It could be one lump sum payment for the family. So the logistics of it, that's something that we can get to when we get to it. And again, we're starting off with cash payments. That's a start off. Then we got to get into land grants, because so many Black people had their land taken. They were run off their land. They were out here in California, Los Angeles, they had something called Bruce's Beach. The family just
I
got their
I just read that.
they just got their land back up there a few miles.
How the hell did they get that back? I would
Yeah,
imagine like they
hey,
would fight that
the
shit to the nail.
grassroots, yeah, the grassroots movement, man. The grassroots,
Yeah.
you on it. If you stay focused and let these people know, hey, we need what's ours, man. There's a place up there north of Bakersville called Allensworth, where a bunch of black people founded a town and they ended up poisoning the water supply and ran the black people off. The place is a tourist attraction up there, but we are so grounded in building so many of these communities, and we've been wronged by the society. So we have to be compensated, and there's different ways to do it. But just the fact that they have to do it, that's the main thing.
What about if they look at it and they say, well, we're gonna kind of treat this like how we treated the Native Americans in a sense, like you know what, we'll kind of like give you guys some land, and if you guys live in that, if the FBAs live in that particular place, we won't govern it. We'll give you some tax breaks, this and third, but chill out with the money. We're not giving you shit. You know what I mean? It's like one of those type of things.
No, man, the Native Americans are papered